Hello, this is Mary Grace, and I'm here to show you what I've been stitching on. I've gone completely off pattern, or should I say off my list. On my list was Scary Stitches. Okay, I did finish that. I did put it in the Woodlawn show. It's still March. Hopefully this will post while it's still March and you can get to the Woodlawn show, and there are 500 pieces, over 500 pieces of needlework to see there. And one of them is my Scary Stitches. One of them was a Scary Stitches also put in by my friend. So you'll see two of them. Mine's the more autumn looking one. Theirs is the brighter one. So I hope you make it to Woodlawn. It is a good time, 2 hours of touring, then lunch, and then you go over to In Stitches and you make a purchase, and then you go back if it's a Sunday, and you get to stitch there from 3 to 4 like we did. So it's a great fun day. Speaking of great fun days, next week I'm off to meet in Culpeper with all the Virginia Stitchers. And when I said the Virginia Stitchers, I'm talking about Becca is stitching the Hiking Stitcher and the Shenandoah Stitcher. I've watched all their floss tubes. They're all great, along with, there was another one. Somebody's mother, Jerry's mother, I think it is. So I recommend you watch all of their floss tubes. And Becca is just, she got a shout out from Just Keep Stitching, Pam and Steph. Oh, talk about one of my life goals. And I was starting to wonder why I didn't get it. It's because I'm more like the stitchery. My first a dozen floss tubes were not floss tubes. They were about the Montgomery County Fair and different things you can do at the Montgomery County Fair, which include cross stitching. So, back to the list. Second on the list was Snowdrop Fairy this is the Ultimate Cross Stitch Fairies book, volume 20 from 2019, on the back by Doreen Jones, is the Snowdrop Fairy. And honestly, I have not worked out since last you've seen it. Because, it's not because I was working on the Blue Jay, because that's on my list, or the Owl Needlepoint that's on my list, but because I was working on the Crazy Bear. I am so proud of myself, and the beads I used to do the honey portion of this bear, and I used some felt, and I adore this bear on the back. My only concern now has become that my bears on the back are going to be better than my bear on the front, because the bear on the front, the face takes up a big portion of it, and that'll have some buttons and what have you. And the chest, I'm going to do an angel on the chest, and that's really the only bear there. I wish I'd kind of saved this one to do on the front. I think I might repeat this bear on the front and do it in some other colors if I can get it to transfer again. Remember, the transfers are from the 1980s. We'll see if it transfers again. So the question is, what have you been working on? Well, there's my Owl, the travel stitch. That's also on my list, kind of. Or maybe not, but this is my travel stitch. It's by Hook, Line, and Tinker. They have 3 different owls. This is the second owl I've done of theirs, I think. Or is it the first? I don't know. Anyways, it's a great kit, except, of course, I didn't use the kit colors because I wanted it to be more brown. So, Hook, Line, and Tinker, they have 3 different owl kits for you to choose from, and lots of other kits too. I highly recommend them because they come with the hoop and the needle and the thread. Of course, I didn't use the thread, but, as the hiking stitcher would say, stitch your own stitch, which comes from the phrase hike your own hike. And it was because I met with all of them that I went completely off pattern. Okay, well, not completely off pattern. It's just that only working on this is what I want to do, but I wanted to have a floss tube that was longer than 7 minutes. I still like my 15 minutes or so. So in order to have a floss tube that's longer than 7 minutes, I have to talk slower, which I just realized I've been running through the first half of this floss tube. And I have to have more things to talk about. And there's not much to talk about when you don't work on the stitch. So I went back to 101 cross stitch patterns. It says it's from the needlecraftshop.com. I don't know if that's still in business. But this is a great book. Yes, I got it for $1 at a thrift shop, which explains it's falling apart, but this is the pattern. This is the reason I bought the book, because this awesome owl pattern. And wanting to have more things to stitch about, I thought to myself, well, if I do an owl a month, then that'll be able to show some progression. So I did do an owl in the month of February, and I used the called for colors except for the eyes. I used satin floss, which, well, first I was going to use glitter floss, or floss that glittered, but you couldn't see the glitter at all. So I went for some satin, and I decided that looked really awesome. And I'm going to put a bead in the middle instead of a French knot, but then I got to do the outlining. So I will work on the outlining, because it, as we know from the Montgomery County Fair, the more you outline, the better. Backstitching is the key to everything, and it really does add to the owl when you do it. But it's a lot of backstitching, so I need to work on that part of it. So I might not get an owl month done because the backstitching's a lot. I also, last time I talked about what is on my list kind of at the bottom was doing a Notions red work, which I can't remember how far I got along, but this is as far as I'm going to get on this that I want to do. You can see the outline of a hexagon because this is going into a quilt that I'm doing that's all about sewing notions and what have you. And it's a hexagonal quilt, so that's the piece that I'm doing. But upside down, I'll turn it right up now. Of course, to go on a sewing notions quilt, you must have a pin cushion. And this pin cushion comes out of this Cross Stitcher and Country Crafts magazine from July/August of 1989. It actually has a whole stocking here of cross stitch or just stitching related stuff. There's even a sewing machine right there, and you can see. So I'm doing this little pin cushion right here as its own little ornament. And I might do other pieces as their own little kind of like ornament too, as part of my hexagon quilt. So old patterns are great. Again, needing more things to talk about, so therefore doing more stitches. A friend of mine gave me this pattern. So it's got the 3 cats, and they're in the moonlight, and I have started it. I started it late at night. Didn't quite read the instructions correctly, so the colors aren't quite right, but no one will ever know. And I've decided that instead of everywhere where it's backstitching, I'm going to either use satin floss. I want to use some type of specialty floss wherever it's got the backstitching. So that is my plan. So that means I'm up to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 cross stitch projects. I think that should be enough to keep me so that hopefully this floss tube is longer than 10 minutes. I hope that you broaden your horizons and remember to personalize your stitch. Goodbye.